Okay, so hey guys, just have to
Wait.
Okay, okay. So introduction speech, right? So while I was coming here to the stage, I thought that coming here after the closing ceremony speech is like coming to a bar after its working hours just to get some beer. But hopefully it will went fine. So yeah, good day guys. Sadly, I have only 5 minutes, but I will try to make it as quick as possible and as detailed as possible. So database query count checks and tests. Definitely it's not some kind of new, I don't know, reinvent or something like that, but let's try just hear it out. Firstly, very shortly about me, I'm Justin. I'm a software developer and team lead of 15 great Django and Python developers back in Lithuania in Corner Case Technologies. We're a development agency. I'm Python and AWS enthusiast, and yeah, I'm first time standing here in the DjangoCon. Even if it's for 5 minutes, probably it still counts, right? Yeah. Great. Motivation. We all know how to optimize queries, right? There were tons of really great topics about testing, optimization, and so on and so forth, about select-related, prefetch-related queries, and other cool things. But the problem is, sometimes it's very hard to spot where to optimize it, right? And how I spotted that when doing audits, when augmenting other teams, joining other projects on the Python and Django. Just like very simple example, right here we've got like, in serializers, we're just trying to get some foreign key relationship, but we forget to prefetch it, to select related in the views, and immediately we get additional queries to the database, and well, you know what happens when we got some list endpoint with 20 or more items. So what are the possible solutions? First possible solution, you can let your application be tested by the clients, by the users. Yeah, react fast, try to optimize everything. That's totally a solution, right? This can be counted. We can write tons of great integration, load end-to-end tests, but they're pretty hard to maintain, to write, and eventually you spot that you got the entire team taking care of that thing. Or third thing, just maybe try it in unit tests. Try to catch at least a little part of those performance issues in unit tests. How to do that? Firstly, you can already try checking that in your unit test without any hard thing. For example, in case you've got PyTest, it's Django assert num queries fixture. In case it's unit test library, you've got self.assert num queries. But it's not very convenient because you need to still use context managers. What is the solution which we're using in our company? It really paid us, I would say, well, is make a wrapper around the API client to assert DB query counts implicitly. So this means without doing any additional thing, so that your query counts would be checked under the hood. There will be some code, so I'll just try to make very quickly through them. So what we did, yeah, basically we just wrapped the API client. This can be REST frameworks, this can be Django's. It's actually not a big difference. What we said, we just allowed to pass default query limit. And later on, we just override all the possible all the possible calls, all the possible methods, post, get, and so on and so forth. But basically, we just wrap them in context manager so that we would do this implicit checking of queries. And the helper just returns that context manager's context. And in the next slide, what that assert maximum queries context is. Basically, there isn't much magic. Django already helps us to do that within the utilities because it provides us capture queries context. What it does under the hood basically just captures all the queries within your test, right? All the queries to the database. So hip hip hooray, we don't need to write anything for that. Then we pass maximum query limit, which is sufficient. And what we do, we just go through captured queries. There is some very small conditional just to get rid of transactional begin and commit lines. And what we do, we just get the count of them, right? Very simply, the length function. And we check whether it's less or equal to the maximum query limit which was passed, right? And lastly, if not, we just raise an error. So basically in PyTest, we just raise value error. In unit test library, we can just do self.fail. So how do tests look now? We can provide query limits when making a call. We can also provide the default value so that you can just override your fixture, for example, for the client, and all your tests already will be doing this check implicitly. So without any more test updates. And in case you really want to change that for your existing test, you can just pass query limit 1. So where is that coming from? Yeah. So this
it's God.
Yeah. So there are some to-dos. So in case you're interested, just give me a ping. We might release the library at some point. So thank you for listening. Here's my LinkedIn. Let's connect. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you so. And yeah, go ahead.
So hello, it's me again. I'm Seb. I won't be presenting myself. It's too much time, and I have a boat to catch. So my lightning talk is about sleepers. You may have heard that on Wednesday by Thibaut Collas, and I'll justify why I choose this title. So I'm here to talk about Django templates. Sorry, and you can do basic things with Django templates. Like it's very simple. You register. Oh, sorry, doesn't work. Yeah. Better. Yeah. Okay.
I pause it.
So inclusion tag. Basically, you pass a template name and some variables, and yeah, you can use it as a jump link, for example. But what about if you try to put some HTML in that on the bottom? There's no simple way to inject HTML in answer variable in this example. So what if you could do that? Like, let's say I have an FAQ tag, which I give some parameters, and then I have a body that can be used in the template that I include. So to do that, you can use Sleepers, which is a great library. So basically, you declare a template, and then you declare it in the YAML file. Well, okay, and then you put it in your template by loading Sleepers and use it. But I don't like YAML, so I have thought about doing my own. And let's hack inside the Django template code. So let's try to do a custom template node. You know, the decorator register inclusion tag relies on inclusion node, and it just can't handle parameters. So we just need to handle parameters and a body. So we are going to declare our own. Let's say we have an inclusion body with body node, and we'll take a node list, which is a body of our template tag, and a context object name, which will be answer in our case. So yeah, node list and context object name. Now, we need another registration decorator. So let's call it register inclusion with body. And it has the classic parameters to inclusion tag. So that may be complex for you, but basically I take the normal parameters from register inclusion tag, and then I just add context object name. Now, the goal is to use that decorator like that. So I register a function, and then I name it FAQ. I give it a question parameter, an active keyword parameter. I do some things inside of that, like putting an FAQ counter, which will be useful. And yeah, so let's see how do we get from, where can we go from that? So we will need to know which parameters are given to the FAQ decorated question. For this, we use getFullArgSpec. This takes the name of the decorated function, and this takes the name of the decorated function in case we didn't give it a name. We have a parsing compilation business. I'll get back on that later. And this function is finally registered in the template library. So again, the goal is to do that. So we have the parameters, we have the body, the node list, and we parse it until the end tag. Now, about the parsing part. You take basically all the bits without the FAQ tag name, and then this code analyzes the parameters after the FAQ tag name and maps them to the one we have in the decorated function. So, yeah. That passes the node list until the end tag, and it excludes the first token, which is the starting tag. And finally, we give all of that to our new node. And yeah, believe it or not, that's it. You just declare the new kind of Django template node. You declare a new decorator and instantiate that node, and then you're done. So another use case you can do is some kind of panel with a middle tag. So you can have two bodies, and yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Ronny Vidria. It's the first time on any conference stage for me, so I'm a little bit nervous. I work at Ambient, which is luckily here on the sponsor list as well, which is a really cool thing. And I had the other day a problem which I thought couldn't be so hard to tackle, and was picking a random, or at least more or less random record from a table. And there's this wonderful order by question mark thing here in documentation, which works. There's this annotation that it might be expensive and slow, which is true, at least in our setup. With a couple of thousand records, I got a friendly email from my ops guy telling me that, what am I doing there? So I had to find another solution. And then I Googled it, because I thought I can't be the first person, it can't be that hard, right? And there's like lots of suggestions, which are all not so, which might not be very performant depending on the distribution of your data. So I was like thinking, okay, there must be a really easy solution. And in the end, I came up with just adding a new column to my table and adding something semi-random, like a UUID or hashing some values together, and just adding a new column and pre-filling this in with the great Django pre-save signal. And yeah, just ordering then by this new column. And this is, I mean, it's not really random, right? But it feels random, and it was completely sufficient for my case. And unless, I don't know, you have like huge data with millions of records or something, and then you will create lots of extra data. I think this is a very easy solution to, you know, get something very efficiently back, which seems to be random. You only have to take care, if you use the pre-save, as always, if you do the creation not via the Django ORM, meaning you do a bulk insert or something, then it won't work. You have to find another way, but in my case it worked, and yeah, it was really easy and solved the problem.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Afonso. I live 30 minutes from here, so it was kind of a missed opportunity if I didn't talk today. And I work remotely for a British company called Collabora, and that's my GitHub. So makefiles are pretty powerful, but they have a kind of arcane and weird syntax and lots of strange rules, in my opinion. And so there was one day when I had like a stupid, crazy idea of, okay, I'm going to read the GNU make manual. I don't know why I did that to myself, but so do not try this at home. These slides are really hacky and ugly stuff that we can do in makefiles. But I found it interesting that it was able to do so much different things. So what I was not understanding at first when learning about make was that it's actually just building a dependency graph between requirements and prerequisites. So I thought, instead of trying to use make for C, I'm going to try to apply it to a Python project and see what happens. So basically, I can define the targets for files that I need make to build. So for example, in this example, it is a really simple example. Here, the Python target will create a Python virtual environment, and then the install target will just read the requirements file and install it. And it uses one of make features, which is it only runs the targets if the prerequisites files have been updated. So if I try to do an install right after it has been run, it will not run because it knows that the dependencies have not been updated, which is kind of nice. And the basic feature of make probably everybody knows. Then I started hacking stuff and things got a bit weird. So what's happening here in this example is that, okay, so I can add placeholders to targets. So basically with this rule, what I'm saying here is that for every target whose file name is the virtual environment /bin directory, I'm going to install that package. And this allows us to do some crazy stuff like automatically install dependencies just based on the name for that target. For example, for linting and formatting, we probably use black, isort, DJ.html, which was shown up yesterday, I think. And with this rule, we can automatically install all of that stuff. I don't know why this is useful. It's just curiosity. Don't try. don't really use this, as it is not quite clear. Also, make is quite nice to automate some small steps or comments that we usually do during our development lifetime. Usually, we would use talks or Nox or PyInvoke for this kind of stuff, but make is native, so it's nice to be able to quickly program these different lines. Another cool thing, also a bit weird, that I discovered is that you can define default rules that make will try to match if it doesn't match any of the other rules. So for example, with this example that I'm showing here, basically I'm aliasing all of the Django manage.py comments directly to make, so it's one less word for me to type when I'm working in terminal. And this example here is also really weird. I discovered that you can actually embed scripting directly in a makefile. So makefiles allows you to select your own shell. So in this case, I'm saying that the shell is the Python virtual environment executable. And in this example, I thought it would be useful to have a command to automatically generate a secret key for Django using the Django function for that. So I discovered that it was actually possible to do that with make. So I did not need to create a separate script, Python script. So I could just like use 2-3 lines of Python directly in the make file. And this feature is also useful nowadays that we are starting to work more and more with Docker workflows. So you can actually specify the shell to be a Docker command to run a container, and then you can add any code you want to execute inside that container directly in make. It's a bit crazy, but it works, and it's something that it is possible. So yeah, basically that's it. So if you have nothing to do, you can read the GNU Make manual. Everything is explained there. I was just curious to try it out in the Django setup. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, for staying until the very end. It's very, very exciting to be here. Please give a big applause to yourselves for being here. It's so good to have you here because all of you inspire me a lot on my journey, not only in programming, but like just spreading the joy of programming. That's why I also like Django Girls a lot, and I'll talk a bit about it today. So, as you know, Django Girls is a free programming workshop for women. It started by Ola and Ola. It is all over the world, everywhere. This is just some of the upcoming events. We are at the top, middle, Porto, and this is really difficult. This is us, right? No. Yeah. Okay. So tomorrow we will be with you in next room with the sprints. So if you are a woman and if you're joining the sprints, please do come to the next door and meet with our participants. We are going to be running the workshop from 10 to 5, just next door to the sprint. So actually, now I'm done. This next is just, we will see some photos and just celebrate, because I think Django Girls is also about celebrating. There is a huge contribution from coaches, mentors. Yeah, that's me, and that's my son. Also, so it's not just the event, but there is a big tutorial behind it. It's translated into many languages, and I know it's a good source of documentation and a good offline tutorial. A lot of people, even though they're not women or joining Django Girls, follows and learns Django. So this is a very, very old map of whereabouts. It's just you can also start your event. I think they did a great job. We did a great job. There's everything you need to run a workshop, and I think this is actually a good read for anyone to be more aware about inclusion. I go back to this tutorial just to remind myself, what's the best way to communicate with the people in my team so that I can be more inclusive. It's a great, great, great document. Especially, I think the organizer's manual has a big, big section about how to be more inclusive and all. And yeah, something a professor in my university prepared for one of our first workshops. And the rest is just we are going to look at some photos from a very, very old Django Girls, and in the last 1 minute I'm going to talk you into it. So those are photos from 9 Django Girls workshop happened in Istanbul between 2016 and 2019. And it's very fun. It's Guido who brought Django Girls to Turkey. That professor who prepared that beautiful Django Girls thing, she used to be neighbors with Guido in Netherlands, and he was visiting Istanbul somewhere after the first EuroPython Django Girls introduced, and he was like, when are you going to run the first workshop? I think it was 2016, summer, something like that. That December, the first Django Girls workshop happened in Istanbul. I think it was a big game changer for a lot of people. And yes, and just want to finish with a last note. It is impactful to help others. It's impactful to inspire. And on the way, you'll get inspired and empowered, and see you next year.
Hello. I'm sorry, again, it's my first time on the stage. I'm coming here from Finland, from my company Kpro. We are both very old into Django. Thanks everybody for great docs since 096, and using it with a lot of code. You see we have lots of code written already. Kpro is one of first to employ Django on a big scale in SaaS, and we still do it. But let's go into the problem. You know that we have lots of APIs everywhere, and APIs are sometimes used for integrations, and most APIs are REST, and they are create, retrieve, update, delete list. And as we need very quick solutions, what's also create, retrieve, update the delete list. It's Django admin. So at some point we thought that I thought that it's okay to use it, and what come from it? What do you actually need? First of all, you need some hacks, and it's making fake model and fake query set. Model can be just a data class or something like it, and query set can be just a list with some custom functions for filter or something for if you need it. And then you need to make some subclasses from paginator and change list to actually use your API client functions. And then you need to do lots of overrides in model admin. As you see, lots of cats. Particularly those functions need to be overridden, but then you get something like this. You can probably see an admin, and suddenly you're using REST in admin, and you can of course use custom actions, but even using normal actions. You can retrieve data. In this particular, we don't do update or create, but at least delete works, and you see it's totally the same experience. So that's all. That's how we solved it, and just another solution. If you have questions, please ask.
Hello. I'd like to talk to you about the most productive Django developers in the whole world. Maybe. And we're going to use the incredibly flawed and biased metric of the lines of code these developers are affecting per day. Here they are. These are the most productive Django developers. And yes, I'm on the list, but Bruno Alla there, the number 2, laid most of the groundwork. So who are we? Why are we here? And are we the most productive? Or are we building something to help you become the most productive? Yes, we're building something called Django Upgrade. Django Upgrade is a tool that automatically upgrades your Django project code. Go from one version of Django to the next, avoid some of the grunt work. So you can install it with pre-commit, so then you can have it just running on every time you commit any Django code. If it's old stuff you copied, it will get upgraded. Or you can just install it the classic way with pip, and then you can just run it on files whenever you want. You pass it the target version of Django for your code base, so 4.1 is the latest. And what it will do is it will run all the fixes it knows about from Django 1.7 now and up to rewrite your code into the latest versions, and not only take care of deprecations, but also take advantage of some new features. So let's take a look at some. Who remembers Django 1.9? And going around your code base and adding on delete to every single foreign key in one-to-one field. I still have nightmares. It does it. There you go. There's a default. Of course, it's picked Cascade, which I think was the original default, but if you needed to change it, you can. It rewrites your URLs into the lovely new syntax from Django 2.0. And if you just did a find and replace when you upgraded to 2.0, there's a new feature pending that it finds the repath calls, and if the regex you're using matches the ones Django uses, it also rewrites it. Django 2.2 introduced the HTTP request.headers interface. It's much better than writing request.meta.get HTTP server and remembering all what that actually means. So it rewrites it. And pending release, the new Django, the new admin decorators, admin.action and admin.display, It finds all those quirky attributes you're attaching to functions that sometimes, people insert code in the middle and they're halfway down the file. It just finds them and puts them into the decorator form. A lot easier to read. I've got a lovely review here on Twitter from Justin Mayer. He said, thank you for the tool. I can't take full responsibility for this. Loads of people have contributed at this point. So please go check out Django Upgrade. If you can, test the unreleased main version. I've got a lot of stuff pending. Someone called Thibaut Decon has contributed a lot of the Django admin stuff recently. And please join me in sprints. We've got ideas to improve it, to even rewrite your templates for deprecations as well. So thank you.
Thank you.